Bryant High School campus, building 18. Board member present are Mr. Daly, Mr. Moore, Mr. Hart, Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Bushard, and Mrs. Porter. Dr. Kimball is also here at the meeting.
Person put in. I can make a motion.
Mr. Hart, we have a motion to suspend the rules. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Hart.
Can make a recommendation or a motion to add an item to the agenda. Item number 4 being technology department generator project for the Bryant Public Schools.
Would you add that to the agenda? Is that correct?
Item number 4.
Mr. Hart, you're requesting that we add another item to our agenda to discuss the generators for the technology department. Is there any opposition to adding that?
Talking about approving the project.
How about approving the deal?
We'll all discuss it.
That's what
Are there any other questions regarding this issue? All those in favor of adding another item to the tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion carries. The item will be added to the agenda as item number 4 on today's agenda. First item on the agenda is the consideration of the Collegeville and Davis elementary bids, and I'll turn this over to Dr. Kimball for the presentation.
Thank you very much, and I hope you had a great Christmas and off to a good start in the new year. I'll ask Mr. Bobby Gosser and Tony Curtis and John McMorrin to take us through the 2 bid considerations, both Davis and Collegeville. As you remember, we tried to get these done in December, but we're unable to get all that pulled off. So it kind of felt the timing was good to be able to bring those to you tonight so that we could begin the work as soon as possible. And I think Mr. Curtis wants to give you an update of where we are with the site work that's been occurring at Davis and Collegeville. So we'll turn it over to Tony.
Well, we can, just to kind of give you an update, we've got on the screen here, we can talk about some of the different bid tabs, and I can pull them up, we'll all look at the same thing together. You've got all this in front of you. And we've gone through the process for both schools. They've both been bid. Lots of competition, lots of detail to kind of talk about and go through. And so I think we're pleased to present guaranteed maximum price number for both projects. That's about $163,000 more than the $8 million that we're talking about. Pretty close to that. So it's a total of for both projects together, $8,093,795. And so that's really good news in today's market. So just kind of to go through the details, I'll turn it over to Paul and Michelle. They've done a great job of generating the competition, going through it, vetting through all the numbers, so they're ready to go.
Yeah. I'll start off with a few minutes of the best news, I guess, of today. Going back to when we were approved to proceed with our early site utility package last year, I'm happy to report that last week the biggest obstacle that we were facing was the switch over of the electrical utilities in both of the facilities, and that was completed. It came down to the very last minute at Davis where they had to put in a new transformer, and then Energy forgot something, rain all came back. Bottom line, we pulled it off by about 5:30, 6 o'clock last Wednesday night. School started on time this morning in both facilities. Both of the electrical items are in a 90th percentile completion right now. We've also made really good headway in the rest of the utilities, namely the storm and sanitary sewers, particularly Davis. We cut the road in to the back of the site. As you you well know, we've had several days of rain. We've got the site opened up, most of the demo is complete. We've got a little drying that's got to take place now before we can proceed much farther on the building pad. But all the utilities, for the most part, we're probably 60% off range of having those installed. Same thing over Collegeville, electric, that was a much easier electrical switch over, but that's complete. The site demo is complete. We're 75% complete with the storm and sanitary. The gas line probably the latest or the least complete. I don't know the last thing we'll do, but there again, we're waiting on the site to dry up, and we'll proceed with the building pad. And what that'll allow us to do, we get that building pad in by the end of this month. Assuming we're approved to proceed with the next phase of the project, we can start writing the foundations first part carefully. So I think the whole team, along with Bob Paget and all the coordination with the district and the utility company, we pulled it off and beat the weather. So I think we got about a week for decent weather to have some regular dry. So that's what we got on the existing work.
Now, I will add, we've talked to the soils engineer a little bit, and what we're hearing is on the undercut, we're expecting a pretty good fair amount of undercut. And we're kind of hearing that all of it may not be required. So that's good news early on right now.
Can you define an undercut?
Undercut is where there's bad soil that needs to be taken out and replaced with good soil for you to build on. And so some of the reports we're getting from the field are good news in that area right now. We're still in the middle of it, but that's a good sign.
Yeah. Next on our agenda, Dr. Kimball said, or John said, we had really good participation, we think, on the bids. I've got a list of all of our bidders that are actually all the people that we invited. We invited over 400 bidders to partake in this whole project, both these projects. We got pretty good response from all of them. As a whole, we had one or two trades, I guess, that we expected a little bit more participation. We only got one or two bidders, but time frame these projects are going to be completed. Some of these guys are already committed to other stuff. And but we got a complete list of additional folks from the district to make sure they're provided. They were asked to participate. We had good walkthroughs. I think we only had one trade maybe that had one bidder, but most of the others we got really good numbers. We had a couple of people, mainly the local flooring guys that missed the scope of work completely. I mean, they were the apparent low of bid day by a long shot, and after we had them in the office and vetted them all out, they realized that they had missed a good portion of the work and they were through. We had a number of people that did that. We had electrical stuff that did the same thing. On the generator package, we had really good turnout on the generator package. But by and large, we had good numbers. And what we've got here should reflect that.
Maybe some explanation of what you're looking at, what you've got. There's a cover letter that Ball Michelle wrote that kind of explains both projects together, give you a total number. And then there's a breakdown of Davis that has all the different items involved in the building to give you the guaranteed maximum price. Same thing for Collegeville. And then you also have all the bid tabs. So that's each package that's part of the bid, part of the plans. Each one has a bid tabulation form there that's got all the people that bid it. And the highlighted in yellow is the subcontractor that was awarded the bid. Okay, and some of them may not, I think this is what Tony was saying, some of them may not be the lowest number you see, but after vetting the process, they didn't have everything covered, and so they were given an opportunity to either cover it at no additional cost or back out. So when they back out, you go to the next bidder. So that just kind of gives you a quick explanation of what all the information is in front of you.
Can, Mr. McMorrin, can you talk about, or perhaps Paul choke in, these columns that we're seeing here? Let's see, site GMP, building GMP, total GMP. Can you just give us a brief explanation of these numbers, what they represent?
Yeah. On both the Collegeville and the Davis breakdowns, essentially each of these pages represents the breakdown of costs for the entire project. The first column, if you look right there above the word cost, it's got CD, site, GMP. That was the construction phase just for the site utility package that we awarded, or that we were approved to proceed with a month and a half or so ago. And the bottom line, if you look at that first column, on Davis it's $517,766, on Collegeville $403,755. That's what we have under contract with the district right now for that page of work. The second column is the cost, the bottom line is there for each one of these. That is the cost for the building packages only that we bid back in early December. And so, and that's the breakdown of all the costs that were included in the building package. Both of those two totals combined add up to the column on the far right, which gives you the total, the CD, total GMP right there, the construction document, total guaranteed maximum price that includes both the utility package, the early utility package, and the building. So the far right column, bottom line, is where we are on the total project cost for each project.
These totals match up to what's on the cover letter. Just for full breakdown.
Thank you.
I have a question about some of the things in some divisions were removed by addendum. Does that mean there's not any landscaping work, or it's going to be covered some other way?
By order. It was pulled out of our contract and will be provided on.
Provided by us, so that means that's an additional cost on top of what you're seeing here.
Yes.
Yeah, just that soft cost would be, anything that you would have in soft cost that we would have in our number.
Do they
AE fees aren't a part of this number.
Would that exclude any asphalt or concrete work?
No, we've got that covered.
We've got that.
Everything that's part of the construction documents are all in this number.
Now, not finding people bid, there's one questionable area, and that's Division C for the steel plant. And you guys are number two. That's kind of unusual, isn't it?
It is, well, it's such a small amount, they're trying to
So I don't want to
entice,
mess with
someone trying to entice someone to come in and do that small amount was tough. They couldn't find someone to do that.
it. I understand that, but sometimes you have to explain stuff, just so everybody will hear you say it.
One question too, I mean, that was the erection number, but it's also, we had one steel supplier bid too. I mean, so we did erection, they did supplying,
The fire suppression system, is it in a separate system, or is it added on to what we got, and we had to beef up the feeder line for what we got already by now?
John, answer that.
Yeah, you really don't have sprinkler system in the current facility, so this is the sprinkler system required for the new facility, and then the cafeteria area that we're connected to. But it does not include sprinkling the entire facility.
Is that gonna be totally on city pressure, or do we have an auxiliary pump or something?
I think the city pressure's got it covered. I don't remember a lot of conversation about the need for a pump. But we vetted that early on, and so if there's a need for one, it'll be in there.
They're pretty competitive, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, where you've got mechanical, fire protection, electrical, we've got good coverage of bids, and that's the majority of the amount of work that goes on in the project like this. It's a good 35 to 40%.
Now, one of the things we were pleased to see is there was a lot of bids in those areas, but even the spread wasn't crazy. I mean, it really wasn't a large amount, that's a good sign too. So,
So if I'm looking at this correctly, for both contracts, looks like it's about $250K in contingency funds.
Can you speak to how that money will be used or controlled?
Sure, that money that you're seeing is strictly the contractor control contingency and architectural control contingency. Anytime we get into a renovation, we're trying to see everything we can see, but sometimes you can't calculate everything that needs to go into the project. So we have based on what our experience has been, what we felt like needs to be there for contingency. If we don't spend that money, then it comes back to you. But it's strictly money for us to do whatever we have to do, that means accelerating the job at the end to get it in on time. We've got the money there to do that. The architectural control contingency, I'll let John speak towards that.
Yeah, it's kind of two different things. The contractor's got to have what they need in there to get the job done on time. So that's where some of that comes in. Architectural contingency, which I believe there's about $25,000 in each of the projects. That's there, and nothing comes out of that unless we've all talked about it. Dr. Kimball and us and all that for sure. That's where in a situation where you have a renovation, you may open up a wall and see something needs to be adjusted. That's where some of that comes into play. The architectural side of it is really, that's more of an open conversation about, hey, we need it here. Can we use it? I mean, that's really kind of the process we'll do when we come to do something like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to mislead you. Our contingency is not for changes in the scope of work that are made later to us by drawing changes or whatever. Strictly things that happen that we need to control dollars, that we have control of, that we need to take care of to get the project done as planned and on time.
The data infrastructure, we all gonna be hardware or some Wi-Fi out there,
It's a combination of both.
and it's included in the electrical contractor scope of work.
I knew you were going to ask me about the wiring. I'll have to double check the wiring. I believe it is.
I believe the wireless, is that right? I think our people will do the wireless, the hardwire.
So the wireless devices, all those are a part of the project.
The installer, whoever that happened to, then, do we require them to be certified as far as bringing down the data wire and making sure that it's
Yes.
installed correctly? And quickly, Dr. Kimball, if we have additional PCs or anything,
Well, the PC would be in this at all.
We're talking about just the infrastructure. Yeah, we're talking about the infrastructure, the wiring, the conduits for the wiring, just really the wireless hub devices will be part of it.
The PC would.
Some good conversation. Is there any other questions? No other questions? I want to just throw in a point that I know that I think there was, I guess it was just around Christmas time, I heard that my son came, my youngest came to me and said that you guys had broken the sewer line over at Collegeville. And he goes, Daddy, it was a mess, but those guys cleaned it up fast. So I want to commend you guys for reacting to that mess and keeping those kids safe. So I appreciate it. Good reason.
we got people watching out for us.
So we do. Any other questions? This is an action item.
This is A and B.
Okay, this is an action item, so we'll vote on it separately as A and B.
Mr. President,
This
for
one.
the minutes, can you place it that I'm joining?
Yes, for the,
Actually, got another.
Want to make sure it's
I will put that in there. For the meeting notes, Mrs. Sanders arrived at 5:33 PM today. So item number 2 on our agenda is an action item. We'll go with A first.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the bid package for the construction project at Davis Elementary School.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid package for the construction project at Collegeville Elementary School. Are there any questions? Further questions?
This Davis.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. I had the wrong one pulled up here. This is a recommendation to approve the bid package for the construction project at Davis Elementary. Are there any questions on this one? Hearing no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Move down to item B, which is also an action item.
Make a motion to approve the bid package for the construction project at Collegeville Elementary School.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid package for the construction project at Collegeville Elementary School. Are there any other questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
That's out of the generator.
We moved it forward, so we have to do some counting.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is number 3, polling sites for the March millage election. Dr. Kimball.
Yes, and again, the timing was really good to have this special meeting because we need to get the notice of the special election and the polling sites submitted to the election commission. There's a couple of options. I would recommend that we go with, I believe it's option 1, which is the full contingency of polling sites that have been used historically in this district for school elections. That would be option 1. Polls will open at 7:30 a.m. and close at 7:30 p.m. You have that. I won't read it all to you, but there would actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sites. From the Belia Community Center down to Woodland Hills Water Department. That provides polling place all across the district in those community areas in which our patrons live.
So give us a minute to just take a look at these documents.
You know what the difference was in price?
I have the cost of the last election. I'm not sure that there has been a cost on the other.
I take it that this cost would represent the cost for option 1,
Yes.
not the cost for option.
Yes.
We don't have a cost option 2 because you haven't used that option.
Okay.
So the only option that we have is the cost of the last special election of February 11th, 2014, which was $23,459.16. So I would anticipate it being very close to that same cost. Maybe we won't have the ISO cost that we incurred.
Hopefully not in March.
Say 20, almost 29.
Are there any questions from our board members? This is an action item.
Mr. President, I would like to move to accept the administration's recommendation to open all polling sites for the special school election to be held March the 10th, 2015.
We have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation of administration to open all polling sites for the special school election to be held March 10th, 2015. Are there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. This would be item number 4.
Yes, sir.
And I'll put this back on Dr. Kimball.
Thank you, and you don't have this on there because it came in actually in a conversation that we had today with Baldwin and Shell. If you remember, you gave approval moving forward with the construction and addition of a generator at the technology center where we house all of our servers. If you remember, we had a little incident in which there was a transformer off the Boswell Road that went down, caused all our servers to be down. With online assessment and all the work that we've done, we feel it's a prudent investment to invest in a generating system to keep our servers up and running. We do a lot of communication using our technology and our computer access. So we went out, Ball and Shell, and also Lewis did the design and then did this, and we have some pretty good news. We estimated over $100,000. One time we even talked about maybe 150 to 200,000. So I appreciate you indulging. We would like to do this tonight if you're so inclined, because the supplier can get us the generator as well as the switching gear that would be required and have it on site so that we can get everything done, and then during spring break be able to shut down the electrical power into that facility and do all the hookups so that we're not taking it down during even a weekend, but we'll have plenty of time to get that done so that we ensure that it's back up and running and our servers are available for our staff, our parents, etc. During critical times of testing and getting to school. So with that, I'll let Tony talk a little bit about the generator and process.
This one, we had really good participation from the electrical community. We had one person, Anderson Electric, out of Pine Bluff, that again was declaring low. We got them in the office, talked to them, and just a turnkey electrical project where they got the gas and got everything else associated with it too. They threw some stuff together at the last minute and realized after we met with them that now they didn't pick up everything they're supposed to, so we went to the next person, Mr. Arnold Electric. But the bottom line is what we've been in contact with the apparent low response and bid, and their contacts with factories tell us that they can get basically the transfer switch and the generator prior to that last week in March, I guess, when spring break is. If we turn it loose, assuming we get the release on that, we'll pick up a phone call tomorrow and say, let's get the snow and stuff in from the architects and we can get that gear ordered. But there again, I think we have really good participation and something that's not a real difficult project, but it's something that does have a little bit of time to make.
We were originally thinking about putting this out for bid sometime in March and all that. We'd already done some preliminary work actually before. And so once the problem happened, we ramped that up, met back with the IT team leadership, and kind of went through everything again, make sure we had everything that they needed covered, and we were able to put it out. The timing was good for the bids, right around the time that these last few projects came through. And so all that combined gave us really good participation and pricing. And then that news of we can get this approved, then they can get everything on site.
How did we determine what came in to get a generator?
And our engineer, electrical engineer, looked into the loads and things like that. We actually had some stuff helping us in the beginning, some of that, and then talking to the IT team, all that, you know, what it is and that. So it was like these,
We did have some road built in. It's going to be a gas generator. So who would do the one?
it's the whole bid.
You know, the electrical sub basically is responsible for hiring.
Or whatever.
Yes.
Tie in together. And what do you remember what brand generator is?
What they're using?
They told me today is what they had figured. I see what they're saying.
So as part of this package, does the school get a training on how to do load bank testing and those kind of things?
Oh, yeah, absolutely get trained. You absolutely.
Can we talk then on that point? How will it be performance tested? I think one of the critical components in this project is that, you know, clearly in the middle of taking a park assessment, if we have a loss of power for our servers, I mean, and the generator kicks in, how much data is lost from what students have entered? How are we going to work for that?
I don't believe I could answer that.
If I'm not mistaken, we have battery backups on the servers.
Yeah.
So they'll actually cover until the generator, which And it'll go through a self-test on a weekly basis.
It's right on.
But we've got battery backup that will actually cover. The problem is, we've had electrical outages, but they didn't last for a day or 2 days. The batteries go dead, we lose. And the data is going to be low cache, so it'll actually be captured. If I understand right, Pam, that when those students are answering those questions on a park assessment, that answer actually gets captured and goes to our server, which would stay there unless it was that minute second, the millisecond, in which it would get transferred. But I think for lack of it would be very rare to lose much with battery backup, especially.
So then, from a general perspective, how much testing, once you've installed it, how much testing takes place?
Well, typically the generator package is a complete unit that comes from the manufacturer with the controls and all that there, and you hook it through the transfer switch. And in this case, it's you lose power, it senses that, the generator starts within 7 or so seconds, and then it transfers.
Okay.
And I mean, that's typical, really.
And probably does a weekly self-test.
You can set, yeah, it can do that, you can set it to do weekly, I mean, it's just, that really can be adjusted and tuned for your maintenance, you know, how they want to do that. That's typically a pretty common component on all the inset packages. This is not a critical care type of setup, but it's fairly sophisticated.
Thank you.
And this fall, there's a purview of the tree will be approved the plan. Would this be their responsibility to run that?
Yes, maybe the maintenance with some of the others. Most of the time, your electricians can do the maintenance on these generators. There'll be some yearly, I imagine, annual maintenance, but the test runs, and we can work with the technology department to do some tests, to shut down that, see how quickly that will load it up, whether the batteries are carried at that point. We can do some additional testing just to make sure. But yes, our electrician would probably be in charge of that under the capacity.
Dr. Kilgore, I think the generator piece of this is pretty straightforward. I mean, we should do it, but I guess my bigger concern would be the data and whether we have backup servers and what happens if something physically happens to the location. What happens to the data? So if you don't have those answers, maybe we could go through technology and get some answers about what happens with that data.
Be glad to, and I don't have that. I mean, we've had that conversation. I don't remember the specifics because we've had that in leadership. We do have offsite data storage.
If we can
just
get an update on that, I think that'd be helpful to us.
We can do that. We can ask Mr. Martin to come and give us an update.
I want to ask probably two questions. The second highest dollar amount of this list is just general conditions. What?
General condition, we're not going to turn just anybody loose on your campus and start wiring things. I mean, we're going to have a superintendent to watch over this, and we don't anticipate this project start to finish taking a long time, but we've got a superintendent that will be watching this while we're doing the work here. It's also going to, that's going to include some, little bit of labor, we'll do layout. There's a lot that goes into it, but it looks like a big number, but it's kind of skewed, I guess, in relation to the actual genset.
So it's your fees, basically.
No, our fee is not in that general condition. Our fee is separate from that, but that involves, we're not going to have a trailer out here, but we'll have the supervision, we'll have some coordinating off of the area to keep people, out of it. We'll have the typical, we're going to be doing a little bit of earthwork out there. We'll have to do some erosion control measures. It's really a bunch of different things rolled up into one.
Based on your experience, what's the timeline to install one of these?
When it actually hits the site, actually setting the generator package it's really just basically 2 or 3 components. Block. This separate package will already be mounted on the skid that's set. What'll have to happen up on, we'll get the gas line tied in, it's got to go out in the middle of the road, it's got to cut through between the 2 buildings. We got a jockey between some sanitary lines, some storm drainage, some other stuff that's out there. We got a little bit of a cut on the side of the hill. When you drop out, come out the backside of the IT building, it steps off the hill. So we got to cut that down and then build a pad. So some of the early stuff that we'll do is basically get the conduit in, get the pad poured, get the gas line in, and then when the actual generator arrives, they plug it, set it on the pad, and do the final connection. It's really a quick deal. Now, then you go through the testing on it. They've got to hook the gas up and check all that, but basically, it's just like one or two components. And the transfer switch has probably got a little bit more involvement, but there again, that's more the electrician doing the final wiring to one component.
And the transfer switch is the component that will control once the power goes down in one spot.
The generator, you lose power, the generator will start, and the generator does full running capacity and ready to pick up the load. It'll transfer the load to the generator and take it off of your existing service. And then transfer back when power comes back on after a period of time.
Now, will Energy have to come and turn the power on and off?
Entergy should not have to, because we're not on the meter side.
Okay.
We're not doing really anything. I mean, as long as we did, if we
Get
try
it
to
on
do
their
this.
side?
Yeah, if we try to do this while during spring break, when we can actually shut the power down completely to the building, we can do most of that without their involvement. I don't see any need for them to be involved at all.
Really?
And I don't anticipate having anything or running into any of their service lines or anything we need. I don't see them being involved.
I said the transformer, don't work in secondary.
You're not changing the meter ring. I mean, you're not doing anything that you're going to be metering. You're just basically setting something in standby for your morning power.
To approve the bid is provide the recommendation to be approved the bid for $96,000.
Yes, this is an action item to start.
Mr. Person, make a motion to accept the bid for the technology department generator project in the amount of $96,046.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the tech department generator project for $96,046. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, we are going to move to executive session.